How's it going, everyone? It's Milwaukee coming back at you once again, and today we're going to be discussing Star Wars Skywalker Strikes by Jason Aaron with art by John Cassidy. Let's get into it. The Rebel Alliance intercept plans for the Empire to start negotiations with Jabba the Hutt on Sai Moon 1. So they end up kidnapping Jabba's negotiators, and they send a rebel strike team in place of those negotiators to Sai Moon 1, which just so happens to be the largest weapons manufacturing plant for the Empire in the galaxy. Once there, the rebels spring their trap, they set the reactor core to meltdown, and Luke frees some slaves. Well, while all this is going down, the real negotiator on behalf of the Empire arrives, and it turns out that it's none other than Darth Vader. Han and Leia commandeer an AT-AT just in time to save Luke from Darth Vader. While Darth Vader destroys Han and Leia's AT-AT walker, the rest of the Imperials, they deactivate the reactor meltdown, causing Luke the need to go back in there to reset it to meltdown. Chewie ends up bringing in the Falcon, and the rebels escape Darth Vader, at least this time. In the next story arc contained within this volume, Darth Vader, having been humiliated with the destruction of the Death Star and with the destruction of the weapons plant on Sai Moon 1, decides he's going to go to Tatooine himself to negotiate directly with Jabba. Turns out, someone in Tatooine is asking around looking for Han Solo. Luke also heads to Tatooine, the center of the galaxy, right? I thought it was the planet that it was farthest from, but everybody's going to Tatooine these days. But Luke goes there so he can search Obi-Wan Kenobi's old home looking for answers about the Jedi. Meanwhile, Boba Fett is questioning Tatooine locals about the identity of the pilot who destroyed the Death Star, who was rumored to have been from Tatooine. Meanwhile, the rebels, in need of a new base of operations, send Han and Leia on a scouting mission looking for locations, and Boba Fett finds Luke Skywalker. Luke ends up narrowly escaping the clutches of Boba Fett, while Han and Leia end up encountering a blast from Han's past. Darth Vader learns the identity of the rebel pilot who blew up the Death Star thanks to Boba Fett. Yeah, so that's the first volume of the Marvel Star Wars comic book series right there, the first 6 issues. This volume contained, like I said, 2 story arcs. One takes place on Sai Moon 1, the other mostly on Tatooine, but also in space as well, and on some secret planet that Han used for smuggling. Before, I wasn't sure if I was going to cover this Star Wars series or not, but I just had to get away from the sequel era and all that garbage, tying in with that. It turns out, yes, if you read the tie-ins, it can indeed make the movies worse. So I had to wash that taste out of my mouth, because I actually do want to enjoy Star Wars. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. So I went here to this comic series, looking to find something to like. And I found quite a few things. First thing that I really enjoyed about this series is the fact that the characters actually feel like the characters. When Jason Aaron's writing the dialogue, you can hear it in those voices. You can hear Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, James Earl Jones. Who's that guy that plays Boba Fett? Doesn't matter. You can really hear their voices, coming off the page, and that just makes this all the more enjoyable. The fact that the Rebel Alliance, hot off the heels of the destruction of the Death Star, they're still sticking it to the Empire, and now they're taking out the Empire's greatest weapons and ship manufacturer to really, again, hurt the Empire, or it hurts them the most, I guess. The fact that the Empire is even negotiating with these Outer Rim gangsters because they need resources and material so they can quickly build the second Death Star. That's something that the old EU, I don't believe, ever touched on. And so it's something that's appreciated here, because you think, why is all this going on? Then you realize, oh yeah, the Empire just suffered 2 major losses. Resources aren't infinite. They got to gather all this stuff, and of course, with the way the Empire negotiates, leads to some tense scenes between Darth Vader and Jabba. Just good stuff all around. But I think the best thing that I can say about this volume is the fact that it leaves you wanting more. It ends on a big cliffhanger. It turns out that Han Solo's wife, she's out there looking for him. And, of course, Han's trying to get busy with Leia when she shows up, so that's a little bit awkward. But a cliffhanger like that, you got to figure out what's going to happen next. And because it's Disney Star Wars and it's all brand new, anything could happen. Like anything. Stuff that you thought you would never see in Star Wars. It's on the table. Who knows what could happen? And I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed Star Wars Skywalker Strikes. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4 out of 5. Until next time, I'll see you there.